Hi. Um, I just woke up. So ignore the way that I sound. I don't know what's been going on with me lately. This is like the 5th time this year that I've been sick. I don't know if I'm sick or if I have allergies, but whatever's going on with me has been affecting my voice. It'll probably change the more I talk. And if I actually, get some coffee in my system. But for now, we gotta record a podcast, right? So I already recorded this podcast and I left on a trip before I was able to edit it and upload it and get it on everything that I wanted to get it on. But unfortunately, the file somehow got corrupted, so it's gone. Love that for me. But I have a lot of things that I need to get off my chest and be very transparent about. And that was gross. Excuse me, hold on. I'm gonna drink some water. See if I'll sound human in a second. Is that any better? No. Alright, this is what we're working with today, I guess. I'm sorry. So there's a lot of things that I want to talk about, and I want to be very transparent on just how I'm feeling and where I'm at, because even if you don't care, I would feel better just knowing that I'm being 100% honest with every aspect of just content creation. And that's why I created this podcast. It gives me a place to kind of get things off my chest and to vent and to just be real with you guys about things that I may not feel comfortable with talking about live, or something that I wouldn't want to get distracted on while I'm live. So this past week and a half, I took a little break from streaming. And the reason why I did that was because I've fallen into this sort of rut again, where my mental health has just been really bugging me. And for this time, it was bugging me in all aspects of my life. But it was bugging me a lot also in the streaming aspect. So I've gone back and forth with streaming my entire time. I've been on Twitch, but I've had experiences multiple times where I kind of fall out of being motivated and I don't have something that's grabbing my attention. Like, for example, I have so many games on my library on Steam and on Epic and every gaming platform you can think of, but none of the games interest me. Like, there are some games that I've been playing offline that I wouldn't really feel comfortable streaming just because I've already gotten so far in the games and it has more of a personal attachment to me that I don't want to start them over. And I feel like if I just start up from where I left off, it wouldn't make any sense. At least that's what I keep telling myself. But I really want to take the time and research games that I may not know about to see if there's something that I'm just not aware of that would interest the crap out of me. Because most of the games, when I think back on the experiences that we've had with games that I loved, I didn't really know about the games. Like Skyrim, I never really played through Skyrim. I didn't even know what the hell Subnautica was, but I watched somebody play Below Zero for like an hour and I became obsessed with the Subnautica franchise. Like stuff like that. I really want to take the time to look around and see what games are out there. And I know that there are a lot of new games that are coming out this year that I may be interested in, but also stepping away from a gaming aspect, because sometimes I'm just, really, dog? Really? All my neighbors got new dogs and they just leave them outside my apartment, I guess. There are just some days where I'm not in the mood to play video games, and that's okay, but I don't want to have to feel like I have to cancel stream or I have to be forced to play a video game because I have to make content that day. That's the thing that has been really like eating away at my conscience, where I feel like I have to be doing something when I know that's not the case. Nobody's forcing me to do anything. And I shouldn't ever have to feel forced to create content, because then it comes across as forced content. Like the energy isn't there. But I don't know. There's so many things that I need to work on personally that will also help my situation. But I also just need to take the time and the initiative to look into things that may interest me and look into things that may work with what I want to do. I've tweeted many times, but more recently saying that I want to find something that I can kind of create a niche out of. I know that right now I'm marketed as a variety streamer, and I like the freedom that gives me, because the reason that I call myself a variety streamer is I feel like I don't have to be pressured to only do the same thing over and over again. Because when I first started streaming, I just did PUBG and Team Fortress 2, and I felt like if I was going live, I had to play one of those two games or else the stream wouldn't be good. And I hated forcing myself into a little bubble. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do variety, and I could do whatever the hell that I want. But the only issue with variety is when you're not consistent with something, it's hard to grow. And although I'm very aware of just the chances of making it big as a content creator, I still would like to grow in some aspect. Anybody who tries creating content likes to see feedback and likes to see that people are actually enjoying what they're doing. Otherwise, it's like, well, why am I doing this? And it also comes with the token of like, yeah, I'm doing it for me and I'm enjoying it. But at the same time, you like to see that it's not all for nothing. Because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that I've become a lot more vocal about in the past few months. But I know that there are a lot of creators that don't talk about it. And I don't know. I like being transparent with you guys. Maybe it's too much. Maybe y'all don't care. But I like to know that I'm at least being honest. And especially with the streams that I've canceled. I hate canceling streams. Maybe you know that, maybe you don't. It physically like rips me apart. I hate canceling streams, which is why it was so difficult for me like the last 2 weeks when I had to cancel. I wasn't myself, and I wasn't even interested in doing tasks that used to bring me so much joy. Like I just wanted to be in my bed, curled up in a little ball, and just not talk to anybody, not move, not do anything. And I needed to listen to my body, and I did, and I'm very glad that I did. I'm still exhausted. I'm still not 100%, but I'm better, because if I would have kept pushing myself the way that I was, I would have just gotten worse. So, that being said, I'm sure that I missed a whole bunch of things. I'm actually going to pull up a document because I was on a podcast a few days ago, and we pretty much talked about the same thing. Like I said, I already recorded all of this, but there's so many things that I wanted to talk about and how I'm feeling. The biggest thing being I just wasn't in the mood to play video games. And I know that Twitch isn't just for video games. I get that, but it was more of like a personal setback where I felt like I had to be doing something, because I go into streams with so many things to talk about, but the second I hit go live, my brain goes blank. And it's so frustrating, because there's so many times where I have conversations with my mods off stream and I'm able to hold a conversation. I can speak. You can tell that I know words. But the second I go live, I forget how to speak. I forget how to act, which is another reason like I moved this podcast to be an offline recording, because I just get so distracted and so overwhelmed with the idea that I'm live and there's people watching me right now that I don't know how to act. It's so weird. I don't know. None of these topics that I wrote down really relate to the stuff that I wanted to talk about today. So it was mainly just talking about how I was feeling. If anybody has any recommendations for new video games, feel free to DM me on any of my social medias, because this is a time where I'm going to be really branching out, and any games that I used to hold myself away from, being like, oh, I wouldn't like that game because I don't normally play that style of game, I'm going to try them. I don't know how long this is going to last, maybe a few weeks, a few months, maybe till the rest of the year, but I definitely want to focus on not focusing on one certain thing. I want to experiment as much as I can and hit as many avenues as I can to see if there's something that really grabs my attention. Because we've been playing a lot of horror games lately, and I'm not a horror game person. Plus, just the way that my brain works now, those of you who don't know, I had a head injury when I was a kid, so I get migraines very easily. And although there are some horror games that we've played that I've loved, if I jump too many times, it triggers a migraine, which just makes me sick. So unfortunately, I've had a lot of streams where I've tried playing horror games and I'm really excited to play them, and I have to check it out because my brain is just killing me because I've jumped too many times, which sucks because I also want to try to implement Dixper into our streams more, but if I jump too many times, it shakes my brain around too much where I just get headaches. So we'll find other ways to implement Dixper. I'm sure I can probably get rid of most of the jump scares or put enough of a cooldown on them to where it doesn't affect me that badly. But this is a time for experimenting. So it's going to get weird. Sometimes probably you may jump into stream being like, what the hell is Brie doing today? But it's also a journey that I'm excited to go on because I think it's long overdue, honestly. Because even though we've experimented a little bit with variety, doing different things just about every other stream, there's a lot of stuff that we haven't touched yet. And I feel like where I'm at right now, I'm stuck. So this is the best time to really shake everything up and try to take a different path. So we're going to do that for a little bit. We're going to see where it takes us. Some stuff that I definitely want to do. I just got the new Switch sports game, like the Wii Sports, but for Switch. So I got that. I have Just Dance. Like I think I'm going to use more of my Switch, and especially the moving around stuff, so I'm not just sitting every time I stream. We're going to do that. We're going to do just more Switch games in general. I want to see if there's any more PlayStation games, like PlayStation Story games that I haven't tried yet that I would like. I've been playing a lot of Bully Scholarship Edition in my offline time, and that's a game made by Rockstar. It's an older Rockstar game, and I just love the play style. I love the way that it flows. So I'm going to look into Rockstar. I know Rockstar has their Grand Theft Auto series. I'm going to look into Rockstar and see if they have anything similar to Bully that I may like that maybe I could stream. Stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe more cooking streams. I really like that cooking stream. I just need to figure out a better way to kind of set up my cameras because watching it back, I was like, ooh, girl, those angles are not good. So we'll move some of that around. But yeah, just like keep your eyes peeled. I'm gonna be making like graphics and keeping you guys updated in terms of plans. I'm gonna try to plan things a little bit more in advance, so that way I'm not stressed out when I jump into streaming. Like, I don't know what we're doing today because nothing sounds good to me, which is what I've been doing the last few streams, and it's been frustrating because no game has been grabbing my attention enough to where I'm like, I want to play this game right now. You know, like I used to, and I miss that feeling. I miss being excited to be playing a game on stream. So I'm going to plan things out in advance. Hopefully we can all build the hype up together and be excited for things like that. But yeah.
Hey, are you in need of some new clothes? We all can use clothes from time to time. You know, summer's coming up and you want to show off that cool rockin' summer bod. I get it. I understand. You're in luck. We have a new merch store. If you go to BlindedBySilence.com, you can go ahead and check out our new merch items. And since you're a podcast listener, use code PODCAST, that's PODCAST, for 10% off your entire order.
Jackson's birthday's coming up. Oh, I didn't even tell you guys. My birthday passed, and it was a lot of fun. Honestly, it was difficult since, like I just mentioned, I'd been struggling just with mental health, and unfortunately it fell around my birthday. But I'm so grateful for all of the people in my life. Like, you guys just really know how to bring up my spirits. And I'm so grateful for you. I cut my birthday stream kind of short just because towards the end I was just exhausted and just really needed to decompress. This was also right before I tweeted that I was going to take a break. I was just so overwhelmed with life that towards the end of my birthday stream, I just needed to go curl up in a ball and not be touched or spoken to. But I did have a really good time, and it may not have come across that way, and I apologize. I just was in a bad place. But thank you guys, all of you that stopped by and messaged me on my birthday, stopped by the stream. You guys are awesome. Those of you that DM'd me during my break, you're awesome too. Thank you for checking in on me. I'm okay. I am. I'm an introvert. I talked about that in one of the other podcast episodes. And my social battery gets drained super quickly, especially because I work in a very socially demanding job. I'm a waitress. I have to talk to people to make money. So it just really took a toll on me, just interacting with so many people. I wasn't ever able to recharge my social battery. And I know that sounds silly, but it's a real thing, and I was just exhausted. So I just needed to not do anything for like a week or two, and I feel so much better. But my birthday was great. I got to see my parents, hung out with my boyfriend's parents. I went on a little shopping spree because I have like no clothes that fit me anymore. So I bought myself a few new pieces of clothes. So that was nice. And yeah, it was just, it was a good birthday. It was a good birthday. Jackson's birthday is coming up. And I am so frustrated with this man. Not like actually, but anytime I try buying him gifts, whether it's for the holidays, whether it's for his birthday, he always manages to guess what I got him like right before I'm supposed to give it to him. So his birthday's next weekend, and I have today off. So I was going to do all this stuff for the podcast, and then I was going to go shopping and like surprise him, and well, not surprise him, like I was gonna, get his gifts and sneak it into the apartment and hide them and all that. So that way when he opens it, he would be surprised. But he keeps talking about tennis. He like really wants to play tennis. It's like, oh, this is great. I can get us tennis rackets for your birthday. And then surprise you and you'd be like, oh my God, this is awesome. Let's go play tennis. So we were driving to the gym yesterday. Mind you, his birthday is next weekend. Driving to the gym yesterday, and all of a sudden he turns to me and he's like, you know what? Fuck it. This weekend, we're going to buy tennis rackets and we're going to go play tennis. And I look at him and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And he's like, what? I'm like, no, we can't do that. And he was like, oh, well, why? And I was trying to play it off because A, I'm a terrible liar. And B, I didn't want to spoil his gift, because this happens every single fucking year. When I get him something, literally a few days before, he's like, oh, I'm either gonna go buy this for myself, or oh, we should go buy this right now. And I'm like, no, you can't buy that right now. So yesterday I was like, no, we can't do it. And he was like, well, I don't see why not. And I was like, well, why can't you just wait until next weekend? And so he sits there and he's like frustrated for a second, and then it clicks, and he's like, oh, that's one of my birthday presents, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it is, and you spoiled it. And he's like, well, I'm so fucking excited. That's great. That's an awesome gift. Like, I really want that. I really like that. I'm like, well, cool, but now it's not a surprise. Like, now you know what it is. So when you open it, it's like, okay, awesome. I've been waiting a week for these. So he's like, no, like, I'm still excited, like, it'll still be great, like, thank you. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So then we drive, like, another street light down, and he turns to me, because tennis isn't the only sport he's been wanting to play. And he turns to me, and he's like, well, would you rather play tennis or racquetball? And I roll my eyes, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And he's like, oh, you're getting both? I was like, yeah. I'm getting both because you want to play both. And I figured if you open the tennis rackets, you're like, oh, that's awesome, like tennis rackets. And then you open the second thing and you're like, racquetball rackets too? We could play both? But now they're both spoiled. And instead of going to the store by myself today, we're gonna go to the store together, and he's gonna pick out the rackets that he wants, which honestly is better because I know that sometimes they're more personalized. We're both beginner players, so we don't really know what we would be looking for, but if there's a racket that he likes a little bit more, I guess it's better that he's picking it out. I don't know, it's just frustrating because I always get so excited because my love language is gift giving. So I always get so excited when I'm like, this is great. This is an awesome gift idea. I'm going to go buy this. He's going to open it and he's going to love it because he wasn't expecting it. And he keeps spoiling it. I remember when we first started dating, it was like Christmas. We were getting each other Christmas gifts. And I just got him a few like small things because this was the first time I was ever shopping for a boy. I didn't really know what to get somebody I was in a relationship with. So I was like, okay, well, he really likes hoodies. I'll get him a hoodie and like some other stuff. And for whatever reason, we were trying to be cute and guess like each other's Christmas gifts. Just like little hints, being like, oh, well, what color is it? What's the price range of it? Like, is it a small gift? Is it a big gift? Because there's so many things out there that the chances of actually guessing what it is are so slim to fucking none. So he's asking me about the gifts. And like I said, I'm a terrible liar. So I'm like trying to lead him off. I'm trying not to give him any hints. And he's like, okay, well, what color is it? I'm like, it's blue. He's like, it's blue. Is it a hoodie? I'm like, no. And he's like, you hesitated. I'm like, did I? He's like, you got me a hoodie, didn't you? I'm like, well, now you know, like, surprised, do you feel any better now? Like, it's just so frustrating because I always want to get him cool things. He always somehow guesses it because I pick up on things that he talks about, right? So like I said, he's been talking about he wants to play tennis and racquetball a lot lately. I'm not talking about anything else that I'm getting him because I don't want him to fucking guess it by the chance of him listening to this podcast. But we'll use tennis and racquetball for an example. So he's been talking about this for months. And anytime we drive past a tennis court, he's like, man, I really want to play tennis. Or whenever we would go to the gym and there's racquetball courts in our gym, he'd be like, oh, have you ever played racquetball? Like, racquetball is so fun. I think we should try racquetball one day. So I just listen because our birthdays both fall in June. And so the holiday that we celebrate is Christmas. So they're like 6 months apart. So right after Christmas ends and I give him all of his Christmas gifts, I listen from Christmas to his birthday about things that he's talking about, being like, okay, well, this could be a possible gift, or maybe I shouldn't get this because he's kind of fallen off and he's not as into it as much anymore, you know, stuff like that. Because I just keep tabs on what he's talking about, what he's interested in. And then towards when it gets closer to his birthday, if he's still as into it, I'll look into getting it for him. But tennis is something that he's been talking about forever. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do this. And of course, the week before I'm going to give him his gifts, he's like, oh, well, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to go buy this for me. Like, I literally tell him anytime we get close to his birthday or a holiday or anything, do not buy yourself absolutely anything. I don't care if it's a pack of gum. I don't care if you really need, like, toilet paper that day. Don't buy yourself anything. It's not happening. I will buy you your gifts because chances are you're gonna be like, oh shit, this is something that I wanted a few months ago. Let me go ahead and see if it's on sale. Let me go buy it because it's already sitting in our closet, wrapped up with a bow on it, with a little To Jackson tag. So just don't buy. Just don't buy anything. Don't do it. And my parents do the same fucking thing. Not in terms of like guessing, but they'll buy themselves things that I'm trying to get them as gifts. Like, my dad loves Amazon. He lives on Amazon. He loves the fact that he can get everything like in 1 to 2 days, and it's awesome. Like, I love Amazon. I get it. But whenever I'm trying to buy gifts for him, he like already has 10 of something because he just buys it for himself. And I always talk to my mom. I'm like, hey, what should I get dad for like his birthday or Father's Day is coming up? What should I get him for anything? And she's like, I don't fucking know because anytime I have an idea, it's already on our doorstep. I'm like, well, So for Father's Day, I'm just gonna have my parents over, and my parents are from New York, and they grew up eating like the fresh New York bagels and all that. So we're a bagel kind of family. So I'm gonna have my mom and dad over on Father's Day, and I'm gonna get a whole bunch of fresh bagels and some lox, and it's gonna be great. That's what I'm doing for Father's Day. Because I asked her, I'm like, what do I get him for Father's Day? I even texted him. I'm like, hey, is there anything that you want? And he's like, no. It's like, okay. Well, I don't want you to just show up and I'm empty-handed, because that kind of sucks. So I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, what do I do? She's like, just get some bagels and we'll come over and we'll have bagels. And I was like, it's fine with me. I fucking love bagels. Because I don't know why, but where I grew up when I was living with my parents, there are like no bagel shops around. And now that I'm living farther north from them, this is where like we kind of start getting into bagel territory. So their favorite bagel shop happens to be like 5 minutes down the road from my apartment. So my mom got all excited. She's like, you can go swing by our favorite bagel shop and get a whole bunch of bagels, and then the leftover bagels, that could be our Father's Day gift. And I was like, you're just saying that because you want the bagels. But okay. I can get bagels. That's not that big of a deal. I actually did that for them. There was one Christmas where I got them a whole bunch of other stuff too. But as we were driving down, I was like, you know what? It would be really nice if I just show up with a whole bunch of fresh bagels, because that's definitely something that they're not expecting. Because what I like to do is I like to get my parents each like a few smaller gifts that are personalized to them. And then I like to get them a joint gift that they both can use. So this one year, it was bagels. That was their joint gift. They got bagels and fresh cream cheese and fresh smoked lox, and they were so happy. Last year, I got them a block of knives because they've been using the same knives from when I was born, and they could barely saw a tomato. So I got them some new knives. But like stuff like that, I don't know. Maybe you have similar experiences with somebody in your life where you just can't give them gifts because they either guess it or they get it for themselves. Let me know if I'm alone in this. I don't know. It's so frustrating. But I'm going to go to the store after this with Jackson, and we're going to go pick out some tennis rackets, and I think we're going to play tennis tonight. We'll see how that goes. I probably need to wear my ankle brace because my ankle's been bothering me again, unfortunately. I broke my ankle like a year ago, almost to the day, and my ankle's bothering me again. So hopefully I would be okay to play tennis. It's a lot of side-to-side running. We'll see. But it's also another form of exercise that I can try out. I've been trying to slim down because I go to the gym a lot. Not as much as I used to. I used to be obsessed with the gym and go literally every single day for like 3 hours a day. But I've been going to the gym a lot more consistently than I have been just in like the past year. And I'm trying to slim down. Like I'm not, I don't know how to say this. I'm not heavy. Like Google says I'm overweight. Thanks, Google. Love you. But I'm really not. And it's more so like my body weight is representative of the muscle that I have on my body because muscle's heavier than fat. So I have a lot of muscle on my body, but I'm not toned. So I need to like actually take the time and slim down my body fat percentage and get a little bit more toned so you could see my muscles, because I'm strong as shit. I am so fucking strong. And it's so funny too, because whenever I'm at work, people don't expect me to be that strong, I guess, because my shirt's a little baggy on me. So I'll just be walking around with like a stack of plates, and the plates at my restaurant are so heavy. Like one plate is probably 5 pounds without food on it. I wish I was joking. I would walk out with a stack of like 20 plates and just like be completely fine, unfazed. And everyone's looking at me like, I can barely carry 5 of those. So I feel super strong. It's also really nice whenever I'm walking by someone, they're like, oh my God, Brie, you're so strong. Like at work, people don't just say that on the street. That would be kind of weird. But they say it at work, and I'm like, yeah, I am. Because, I don't know, I always laugh whenever I apply to jobs, like when I was applying to jobs, and I would see in the job description that, oh, it's recommended that you can lift anywhere between like 20 and 40 pounds without any issue. I always laugh, because I'm like, I can lift so much weight. I have a very toxic trait whenever I'm at the gym where if somebody next to me is doing the same exact exercise, I will try to do more weight than them so I can prove a point to myself. I don't know why I do this. I will probably get injured one day. But I don't know. It makes me feel good. Because I lift heavy weights. I do, I guess, strength training. But it's funny because I've been benching a lot more and squatting a lot more. And there was a day a few weeks ago where I was squatting at the gym with Jackson and I was squatting more than the guy next to me. It always makes me feel better when it's like a buff guy and I'm doing more weight than them. So I was squatting more than the guy next to me. And I was also benching more, like another few weeks ago, benching more than this other guy next to me. And I don't know, it just feeds my ego, I guess. My strong ego. But as far as everything goes, I'm feeling a lot better. And once again, I'm very thankful that y'all allowed me to take a break. I know that it's not something that you could be like, oh no, Bree, sorry, you're forced to stream forever. You can't step away. But I always get so overwhelmed whenever I do cancel because I'm always so fearful that it's gonna be bad. And I know that taking a lot of breaks does hurt your growth. I know that. I've experienced it over the past 5 years. Like, I know. But I always get super nervous that it's not going to be handled well by my community. So I'm very grateful that just about everybody in the community is receptive of the fact that sometimes I need a break. I'm human and I need me time. And the fact that y'all, a lot of you took the time to message me and reach out multiple times to check on me. It really means a lot. Because I may not respond to every message, but I see every message, or I try to see every message. So thank you to everybody that reached out. That was very sweet of you, and I appreciate you more than you know. But going forward, we're gonna be trying some new things. So I'm excited, because I don't know what the future holds, and I hope it brings some new excitement in the fact that we don't really know what's ahead. But we'll see. I'm going to be doing some research. I know this weekend is Father's Day weekend. It's Father's Day is actually tomorrow. So I don't know how much work I'm actually going to get done this weekend, but we'll see. I think next week is when I'm going to have a lot more days off. So next week I'll probably start doing some research, and I think come July is when we're really going to start just experimenting. Because we only have a few more streams left in this month of June. So I think I'm going to spend the rest of this month just kind of researching what games are coming out for the rest of this year. Any new games that may have been released that I'm not super aware of. Maybe there's something in alpha, beta, early release that I can try out. I know Raft is coming out with this huge update. I think on Monday, the 20th, June 20th. Raft is coming out with this huge update that'll like finish the game. So there's a lot of things that we can really experiment with, and I'm excited. Maybe we'll try some MMOs. I've never really taken the time to do an MMO by myself. I've only ever been, like, somebody's held my hand through MMOs, so I don't really get to enjoy them because I don't really know what's going on. I just get force leveled up. So maybe we'll try like New World or Monster Hunter Rise or World of Warcraft. That one's still super big, and I've never played World of Warcraft. I've been seeing a lot of people play Wizard 101. I've never played that as a kid, and I know that that's like that style of game. There are a few other games that were in my brain, but now I can't think of them. But I'm going to do some research, and I'm going to compile a list, and I'm going to go through, and we're going to experiment. We're going to experiment. Like I said, it's going to get a little weird, but I'm excited. So I hope you all have an amazing day or night, depending on what time you're listening to this podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure, like I said, I think towards the middle, use code podcast to get a discount on merch at BlindedBySilence.com, and check out our new merch. I love our new merch. It's really high quality and it's super great, and I love seeing people wearing the merch. It makes me very excited to see that you guys are enjoying it. But yeah, I will catch you in the next one. See ya.